Andy, I just, first of all, your general impressions of a game that was maybe a little more in control maybe before halftime, and then in the second half kind of opened up, especially it seemed like kind of at times it was closed and all of a sudden it would open up and then it would close back down again. What did you see playing out?
Yeah, I think your assessment is pretty fair of the first half being pretty in control. But obviously goals change things and changed confidence. And I think it changed how they were pressing a little bit in the second half. And I think that allowed, we also made some changes as well. And that allowed us to open some things up a little bit more. But yeah, have to keep things locked up tight. So good experience. And like, that's fun when the game is changing, right? Because that's what we have to learn how to deal with. You're fine. It's fine. It's okay. But like, that's what's fun is we have to, there's a game plan, of course, but like, of course, we're going to make changes. The other team's going to make changes. So we have to be flexible. So I think it's a great test.
Kind of Lena's arrival kind of anticipated my next question.
Uh-huh.
It seemed like at the start of the game, it was much more 4-4-2 at times.
Yeah.
Just up very high.
Yeah.
Obviously that changes things for you and Heather in that first half.
Mhm.
How did that play out for you? Was that, has that been in the works for a while? I guess I'll start there. Has that been something that the team wanted to look at, or is that maybe a new wrinkle?
I think we want to be flexible in that is like an option for us, even in the flow of a game. But I do think it started off a little bit more structured. And as the game wore on, we were able to like get Paige higher, Chloe in the pocket, and then Lena also in the pocket. And I think that opened up more space for her to be in the pocket, which she can do great. Like she can get in behind, but she can also be in the pocket. So, yeah, the 4-4-2 was more planned. I think that was also really difficult for us, like for me and Heather, especially to be super involved in build up and then give them the support that they needed. So I think we kind of left them with a tough job. But that's also on us to maintain the ball a little bit higher and like be more patient higher up the field rather than once we just break past that, midfield, just going for it. So a lot of really good learning lessons for individuals and the team.
Obviously the Summer Cup doesn't go the way you guys wanted it
Yeah.
stage, but you got a bit of a break now.
Yeah.
Your next match is how do you balance those two ideas?
Yeah, I think Jonah did a really good job of establishing what he wanted this tournament to be, and it was all about just us in preparation. But I think as a competitor, it's hard to not want to win everything. And so of course, like you're kind of disappointed, but at the same time, that's a trip we don't have to take and more time we get to spend on the training ground addressing the things that we want to address. And being able to more like critically analyze these past few games and address a lot of things in training. And so I think, and that's been the same through the whole year, is no matter what the result is, just kind of being very neutral in like our assessment, and then our intensity back in training is always the same, whether we win, we tie, we lose. It's always like what went well, what didn't go so well, what do we need to fix, and just always keeping that kind of same attitude and not being taken away by whether things are going well or going poorly.
What was your thought process on getting the 50K?
Yeah, I am happy with how I struck it. I'm happy with how we earned it. I thought Uli did a great job. I couldn't fully see it, but good to earn a good penalty. And I think she did a good job like holding it up for me so I could, catch my breath and go through my process. And we train, like I train them a lot, just like every once in a while, hitting one or two after training. And there's a couple of us, so we're all prepared. But yeah, I felt ready and confident and ran through my routine, and I was happy with how it went.
So she held the ball to give you some time to like get ready?
Yeah, because I think sometimes if you're like, you take the ball too early and set it down too early, you start to like think too much, or you give the keeper more time to know that's you're the one taking it or whatever. So yeah, she did a good job.
Growing up in Virginia, getting to play in Richmond, what's that like for you?
It was really fun. This whole experience has been fun because obviously I grew up just 95 and frequented this area a lot with a lot of tournaments or games or all the time, like ODP practices, things like that. So it was funny, even like being where we were staying, I was like, this all is very familiar. So it was fun. And then like I ran into someone in the stands that I knew from like playing club growing up. So yeah, and we also have played here a couple times in the past, from the earlier Spirit days, so for me, it was a really fun experience, and the stadium is great, and like the environment is very cool. I really enjoyed it, and I thought the fans were awesome, and yeah, my husband played here earlier this year, so I got to watch that virtually, but it was fun to experience it, and yeah, great service, great vibe, good fans. I really enjoyed it.
Converted a penalty too.
He did.
Yeah.
All right, good for the Scundridge fam. Yeah, I'll do it. We'll take it.
You mentioned, in trying to open the game up, and I think Jonah's talked about this a lot, like
Mhm.
maybe wanting to not rule out going long when it's on.
For sure.
But to not necessarily rely on it. I think in Philly, he mentioned maybe a few too many. There were some instances tonight where either you or the center backs
Yeah.
went long. Do you think that you got the balance of it was on and maybe the delivery didn't quite work out, or was that maybe still that same dynamic trying to reduce that?
I can picture one in my head where my delivery was definitely poor. But I liked my idea, so I can get over that. Just work on a few reps. And I think that we were being really patient, so we weren't like just going long too quickly. But I think that we were like, by the time we decided we wanted to go long, it was too obvious that we were going to go long. Not all the time, but some of the time. So I think being a little bit more connected in our movement to show that it's on to go long. So I think the balance in terms was not bad. But yeah, the being on the same page, and like obviously the quality needs to improve. And also that's what these games are for, is like me trying to hit a pass that I'm maybe not 100% sure that it's going to come off, and trying different options and learning why it worked or why it didn't work. So I think I'm okay with the balance we struck tonight, but we'll see what the boss says, and maybe I'll revise my answer next time.
All right, thanks. So
Thank you guys,
Same.
appreciate it.
Yeah.